the Sixth Parliament, establishing precedent.
The Prime Minister, Robina Nabbanja, interested the House to consider factors including the increment in population since 1995 from about 20 million to the current 14 million in 2024.
The districts have expanded from 39 to 146, creating new governance demands. As per a per capita increase in ministerial portfolios is necessary to match service delivery needs and ensure equitable representation.
The expansion of government priorities, including wealth and job creation, have also contributed to the justification for more ministers.
Flagship programs such as the Parish Development Model, PDM, the Emyoga Initiative, and climate resilience strategies require dedicated ministerial oversight to ensure effective implementation. Specialized portfolios are needed to coordinate cross-cutting programs, monitor government performance, and guarantee accountability at grassroots level.
A new mandate has been given to the head of state and all of you. The head of state traversed the country explaining a manifesto which Ugandans have approved. So he needs a team that will work to effect that manifesto.
Mukono Municipality MP Betty Namboze and a few opposition MPs were in contradiction to the move, requesting that the local leaders are empowered to function and assist the required ministers as per the Constitution.
If there is any governance gap that has been created, that gap can be fixed by the local leaders. We are being treated as if we are just a rubber stamp parliament. I want to appeal to colleagues that for the first time in the history of this country, let's for the first time stay this motion.
If rationalization, the objectives of rationalization were to be achieved, any variation should be that probably this time round, the Prime Minister is before this House to cut down on the number of ministers as were presented in the previous Parliament. Right, Honourable Speaker, are we proceeding well?
While concerns about cost and duplication have been raised, Uganda's governance demands are unique, and the Constitution provides for this adaptive approach.
The House, chaired by Speaker Jacob Oboth, sided with the majority, approving the number of cabinet ministers to 81.
Those in favor say aye, and to the contrary say nay. Aye. The ayes have it.
Meanwhile, the vetting of the appointed ministers has been placed on Monday next week. This follows the move by the House, which agreed to constitute the members of the Appointments Committee. Parliament was also notified of the new leader of opposition, which is Joel Senyonyi, who bounced back, having served for 2.5 years in the 11th Parliament.
Why has that place become a bottomless pit? Why do they not finish constructing that place so that members don't sit on their laps? Especially because money is appropriated. It would be a different thing if somebody was saying there is no money available, but money is passed here. At one time I said, look, can we stop passing this money? But the money is appropriated, work doesn't happen. Meanwhile, Parliament spends billions of shillings to rent office space.
Within 2 weeks, the clerk will give me the status report on that building and what needs to be done and when it's going to be completed. And I'll report here. So the business committee has to work. We are going to do what they call resetting the factory default. Thank you very much.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gwitabinji, UBC News.
Thank you so much, Daniel, Mugoe and Gloria, for the update on Parliament. Now, day 2 of the orientation for members of the 12th Parliament focused on the practical workings of the House, with new and returning members of Parliament taken through sitting arrangements, procedures and parliamentary protocol. Senior Clerk to Parliament Peter Odeke advised members of Parliament on the importance of following the rules and, of course, of procedure to the dot. Take a look.
The orientation of members of the 12th Parliament continued today with sessions dedicated to understanding how the august House functions on a day-to-day basis. Lawmakers were taken on a guided tour of Parliament where they received a briefing on the history and the significance of the institution.
The front benches, on this side, this is called the Treasury bench. The Treasury bench is reserved for ministers. So once we have cabinet ministers approved, we allow them to take the front bench, starting with the most senior, closest to the speaker, and they spill over. Similarly, to the left-hand side, the first seat is reserved for the leader of the opposition. And then they have their hierarchy, maybe the whips, and then the shadow cabinet, and those also sit on this side.
Inside the chambers, Senior Clerk to Parliament Peter Odeke walked the members through the nitty-gritty of how the House business is conducted, from debate proceedings to voting processes. MPs were also reminded of the importance of registering their attendance, a requirement for participation in parliamentary proceedings. In addition, the legislators were briefed on their administrative entitlements, official protocols, and the expected standards of courtesy and conduct while the House is in session.
The Speaker must come and find all of you seated. You don't come after the Speaker. The Speaker should find you here, and then you rise. He gives communication, then the proceeding starts.
Officials said the sessions were aimed at equipping members with the knowledge needed to effectively carry out their legislative duties as the 12th Parliament settles into business. The orientation program for the 12th Parliament is ongoing and is expected to cover more aspects of legislative procedure and governance, climaxing on Friday, 29th May. Dorcas Kimono, UBC News.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kimono. Several businesses and residential structures have been demolished in Kawala 1, a Kampala suburb, over widespread encroachment on drainage channels and protected environmental zones. The exercise was carried out by NEMA Environmental Protection Police Unit together with other sister agencies to intensify the crackdown against environmental degradation. Take a look as you get more on the story.
By 9 a.m., heavy security deployment was mounted in Kawala 1 to enforce the restoration exercise against illegal encroachment on the protected environmental zones of Rubiji. Several structures were brought down, including residential houses, kiosks, shops, and other business establishments constructed along drainage channels and environmentally complex zones. The operation, which left several residents and business owners torn down, forms part of the government efforts to restore degraded ecosystems and address the growing challenge of flooding in urban areas.
We continue to condemn this. If they are saying that they are preserving wetlands, let the wetlands be considered at all levels, not segregating people.
According to NEMA, the operation follows several notices and warnings issued to illegal occupants in Lubiji wetland.
Restoring environment to get the greater good of ecological services that come along with improved environment, there may be occasional pains. But we ensure that we mitigate them. We try to be as humane as possible.
Some residents were seen swiftly removing furniture, roofing material and merchandise moments before the structures were pulled down, while others watched helplessly. NEMA says the demolition exercise is not intended to punish residents, but rather enforce environmental laws aimed at protecting lives, property, and the environment.
Let's start just from basics. Floods. The floods. When floods come and cut off roads, everyone suffers. Those who did it and those who didn't do it. So when we protect and restore the wetland, even if you hate me, you're hating me for nothing, because I'm doing it for your own good, for the good of the country, for the good of all of us.
Nonetheless, the exercise sparked frustration among residents and business owners, many of whom accuse officials of leaving them homeless and economically devastated.
Obuvubuka bwange bonna bunsaze n'abaana be nazaalira wano baliko abazzukulu kati ndagawa n'ebintu.
NEMA says the persistent encroachment on protected zones has continued to affect the natural flow of water, increased cases of flooding, poor sanitation and environmental degradation, especially during heavy rains in Kampala. Kampala in particular has in recent years experienced recurring flooding resulting from blocked drainage channels, wetland encroachment and poor waste management.
When heat waves reduce, everyone benefits. When we have clean water, everyone benefits. When we have improved biodiversity and we have better tourism, better lives, everyone benefits. So, you may see it as inconvenience, as pain, but there are more dividends to it than the short-term occasional inconvenience.
Accordingly, unregulated urban settlements continue to put erroneous pressure on the fragile ecosystems as rapid population growth, increasing demand for housing force many people to occupy restricted areas. The operations will continue in other affected areas as part of the broader efforts to strengthen environmental compliance and climate resilience. Susan Naong and Michael Bakabulindi reporting for ABC TV.
From the health industry, Ugandan biotechnology company Day Biopharma has announced the filing of a utility patent application with the United States Patent and Trademark Office for a next-generation mRNA vaccine platform designed to provide broad protection against major Ebola-causing viruses. Now, the vaccine platform, developed under the leadership of Dr. Matthias Magola, targets several dangerous Ebola virus strains responsible for major outbreaks, including Zaire Ebola virus, Sudan Ebola virus, Bundibujo Ebola virus, and the West African or Makona lineage linked to the deadly 2014-2016 West Africa epidemic. Take a look.
According to Ugandan-based biotech firm, the patent application outlines the use of engineered consensus and mosaic Ebola virus glycoprotein antigens formulated in lipid nanoparticles to support rapid outbreak response and broader immune protection. The company says the filing contains 24 distinctive claims covering antigen design, mRNA delivery systems, lipid nanoparticle formulations, manufacturing processes, dosing methods, and clinical use applications for outbreak response and protection of frontline health workers. Speaking about the innovation, Dr. Magola said the new platform seeks to change the traditional approach of developing separate vaccines for different Ebola strains.
Our factory is built to meet the most stringent standards, like the US FDA, WHO standards, EMA is European Medicine Agency. Any stringent standard in the world, we are being constructed to meet all those standards.
The development comes at a time of renewed global attention on Ebola preparedness following the recent Bundibujo virus disease outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda, which the World Health Organization classified as a public health emergency of international concern. Currently, approved Ebola vaccines, including Evabo, are unlicensed for protection against Zaire Ebola virus and do not protect against other Ebola species such as Sudan or Bundibujo viruses. Day Biopharma says its platform is designed to close this gap by targeting conserved surface structures shared among major outbreak causing Ebola viruses using advanced consensus and mosaic antigen technologies. The company further revealed that preparations are underway for phase 1 human clinical trials, with a plan to seek conditional approval within 48 to 60 months from the start of development. Under its development roadmap, Day Biopharma intends to file an investigation new drug application with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration to support clinical trials involving healthy volunteers. The trials are expected to assess vaccine safety, tolerability, and dosage levels. The biotech firm also says it is engaging global health partners, including the World Health Organization, Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, and Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, to support procurement, deployment, and stockpiling discussions. Dr. Magola says the project reflects Africa's growing capacity to develop its own solutions for epidemic preparedness and reduce dependence on external vaccine supply chains during the health emergencies.
We want to be able to manufacture all essential drugs here in Uganda. So we are able to supply the country, supply the region, supply Africa and the world.
Tanaba Kenneth compiled the story for UBC News.
We'll take a short commercial break and we'll be back with more stories.
And that's it for today. Till the next episode.
Like a daily bando, like a daily bando, like a daily bando. Omuliro nguwulira mulimu mutima kukankana like drums. Kalakata, kalakata, enendungu ya kusabula. Mikono tu, free of fire, free of fire, free of fire.
In a fast-moving world, why are we still stuck with paperwork? Signing here, stamping there, moving from office to office. It's exhausting. Now, there's a better way. With UG Pass, you can securely prove your identity, sign documents, and access government services anytime, anywhere. No delays, no stress. Everything is instant, safe, secure, and government-backed. UG Pass, your identity secured. Available in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. UG Pass is a product of Nita Uganda.
Welcome back from that short commercial break, and thank you so much for still watching UBC News tonight. Now, the Uganda High Commission in Ottawa, Canada, Ambassador Alan Kajik has urged Africans to abandon tribal differences and unite to harness the continent's untapped potential across all sectors. He made the remarks during Africa Day celebrations held at Western University, Canada, where he met Ugandans and Western elites in a discussion aimed at repositioning Africa's interests on the global stage. Take a look.
The celebrations, held under the theme Africa Rising from Potential to Global Impact, were marked with pomp and intense discussions on Uganda Western University and Canada relations. Speaking at Western University, Ambassador Alan Kajik commended the institution for offering education opportunities to graduate students and empowering them to realize their potential. He stressed that Africans must move beyond tribal divisions and embrace innovation and development, especially at a time when other nations are advancing in areas such as space exploration.
You are living in one of the most connected and complex times in human history. You have access to knowledge, technology, and global networks. Therefore, no excuse for failure. As Africans, for a long time, we have been shaped by tribal systems, This provides belonging, language, and community identity, but also it encourages narrow group loyalty and short-term thinking. As Africans, the idea of us thinking about our tribes, which tribe is more superior, when others are going to the moon, must stop. We must wake up and do things that are serious.
The event also highlighted ongoing partnerships between Uganda, particularly the Joint Clinical Research Center and Western University in medical research.
We have a long partnership with Makerere University, as you know, and the Joint Clinical Research Center, both of which I've visited multiple times. Some of those relationships go back 20 and 30 years. This is about strengthening Canada and African nations' oral collective economic prosperity, as well as global health, peace, and security.
Today, through our faculty spotlights presentations, you will hear about the collaborations that are advancing global health, music, entrepreneurship, experiential learning, engineering, education, and so much more. These collaborations matter now more than ever.
The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Alan Shefford, described the collaboration as impactful and beneficial to shared progress. During the celebrations, Ambassador Kajiko also promoted Uganda as a leading destination for adventure and tourism.
The Pearl of Africa. Uganda is simply an amazing country to be in. It is a beautiful country with diversity, untapped potential and resilience. Permit me, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to salute the leadership of this university by being a champion on equity, diversity, inclusion in Canada.
Recently, Uganda's High Commission in Ottawa, Canada, led a top delegation of Canadian tour operators, press, travel advisors on a familiarization trip to Uganda's top tourism sites like the source of the River Nile, Namugongo Matal Shrine, Old Kampala Mosque, among others. This call was also to bolster tourism ongoing progress. Crispus Adinitwe, reporting for UBC.
Increasing financial pressures, workplace stress and limited support systems have been identified as the leading factors, affecting the mental well-being of micro, small, medium enterprises. Experts in the money economy are advocating for policy dialogues looking at economic empowerment to streamline the sector, and this was during the Mental Health in the Money Economy Symposium in Kampala District.
Micro, small, medium enterprises are a backbone of Uganda's economy through employment creation, entrepreneurship, innovation, and household income generation. However, increasing financial pressures, workplace stress, and limited support systems are affecting the mental well-being of these entrepreneurs.
There are people who borrow and then they can't pay back because sometimes the business has been mismanaged or whatever the case. There are also people who pay at very high interest rate. So then it doesn't add up. So then you have to exit the business.
Close to 15% of the world's working population is estimated to have mental disorder at work, and there is an increase by 70% mental health cases in the country, according to the recent State of Uganda Population Report 2025.
But the context relays you with a number that is significantly very high. Also because the issue of rent in the city goes up every day, and it increases by the day. Sometimes it's not stipulated within the very long contracts. So the owner of the arcade can change the rent dues anytime that they may wish, because they know that there will be someone else to get into the store after.
At this Mental Health in the Money Economy Symposium, stakeholders are advocating for policy dialogues that look at combining economic empowerment, among others, to reduce these cases.
And eventually this is what we really want to advocate for, because the tenfold growth strategy is not going to be implemented by robots. It's natural persons, flesh and blood, you and me, that are actually going to be at the center of this. So if just getting access to credit can make me go mental, if the craze of trying to have my product certified can take me crazy, if just losing my goods at the point of importation, or maybe not being able to achieve expectation of a particular market. If I cannot access a particular market because of technical barriers to trade, some of these are non-tariff barriers, where do I go? Where do I run to?
Some commercial banks, like EcoBank Uganda, have come up with advisory services to support MSMEs in business expansion and growth.
How do they pay their taxes? How do they do their financial reporting so that they reorganize a business sector that becomes more attractive to access funding from the banks? Because we know that most of these SMEs are not keeping proper records. So in the area of financial education, we partner with some other third-party companies to be able to provide those advisory services.
The symposium was marked under the theme, Unlocking Productivity and Economic Transformation Through Workplace Well-Being. Lydia Chomkama and Regan Ahumuza, UBC News.
The Deputy National Coordinator for Parish Development Model, Bonnie Choncho, has challenged the PDM focal point persons in West Nile to enlighten the population about benefits of the program in households. Chichoncho was speaking in Arua City during an engagement with the PDM focal point persons in a meeting organized by the Enterprise Uganda and the Ministry of Finance.
Many beneficiaries of 1 million shillings PDM fund have made good use of the money, as many mismanaged it. Mercy Amanio, a resident of Odravosel in Naivu East constituency of Arua City, is one of the beneficiaries of PDM in the second phase and ventured in poultry and piggery projects.
Aka uoji de ni ba aka uoji turu na fazi be muso milionu so ziri amako tawo sida kaka udra ko muso milionu so ziri a umanye jidia sari si umiefu dila uje madira ba ra yerke uje madira aya ba tawnya muso morke uje madira.
According to the Deputy National Coordinator of PDM, Bonnie Kichoncho, there is need for more sensitization about PDM, a task that PDM coordinators in local governments should undertake.
His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of the Republic of Uganda, came up with this dream mainly to uplift the income, the household income of a poor Ugandan. Most of us misinterpret PDM and say it's little money. No, the people for who it was intended is actually a lot of money, and it is doing wonders. You go, spread the gospel.
Kichoncho's call is aimed at rallying the masses to positively consider PDM funds meant for ordinary Ugandans in order to improve household incomes. Resident City Commissioner of Arua City, Betty Akelo, identifies marketing challenges among PDM beneficiaries as a major challenge, frustrating those that venture in agricultural production.
And the question has been raised to us, they still need to strengthen the marketability and sustainability of the enterprises supported under PDM.
Canon Osutadradia, the coordinator for Operation Wealth Creation in Arua City, disclosed the poor mindset about PDM as a challenge that frustrates the recovery process and urged the beneficiaries to form cooperatives in order to experience better marketing strategies.
For example, in West Nile here, in Arua, we form a piggery cooperative society. Eventually, we shall have a piggery union for the whole of West Nile. Piggery is wanted in Congo and Sudan. People eat it a lot. Poultry, we can also eventually form a society of poultry farmers. The issue of recovery is a challenge here in Arua.
Joseph Wadama, UBC News.
Yes, this is a lot of money. Yes. So I'm cutting them. I've started to eat it.
Makerere University's College of Education and External Studies, through the Institute of Open, Distance and E-Learning, has disseminated findings from a MAC-funded project aimed at strengthening blended learning into higher education. The project, titled A Contextualized Evidence-Based Blended Learning Framework for Makerere University, was implemented in 3 phases since its inception in 2021.
Delivering the dissemination report, the key principal investigator, Dr. Kyomugisha, highlighted the project's contribution towards improving digital learning systems, teaching approaches, and learner accessibility at the university.
Institutionalized training of academic staff and students, where we teach them instructional design on how you design courses for putting online, but also teaching them how they can do teaching online and also assess online using the institutional LMS, which people here prefer to call as Mwele.
It shouldn't be only during promotions and post-retirement contract, as you know, but it should go beyond that. Members of staff are facilitated in a different way. They receive incentive in an organized manner, incentive which is policy made. I think we can get a lot of research from members of staff.
Dr. Kyomugisha noted that the framework was developed based on research evidence and contextual realities within Uganda's education sector, with the goal of enhancing the quality and effectiveness of blended learning.
The policy on blended learning and the guidelines. So like the chief guest has mentioned, these are going to be passed through the processes, especially through Senate, then to management and then council, so that once these are approved, then they are put into the colleges and the principals do the implementation.
The initiative comes at a time when institutions of higher learning are increasingly embracing technology-driven education models to expand access and improve learning outcomes.
That in as much as a lot has been achieved, there are still some salient challenges, like the IT facilities are still lacking, not only for us like the prime providers like Makerere, but also our teachers we train who go in the field. They lack IT facilities, and also power, as we know in Uganda, is unreliable, especially in the rural areas.
The rest of the other colleagues in other universities, even outside of Uganda, we find that this is the direction that institutions are taking to strengthen their capacity to handle the teaching and learning needs of today and tomorrow.
Principal of the College of Education and External Studies, sees Makerere University stakeholders at a dissemination meeting described the project as a timely intervention that could shape the future of open and distance learning both at Makerere University and across the country. Sandra Kahunde, Robert Katamba, News Tonight.
In other news, the National Unity Platform has unveiled its new shadow cabinet with a call on appointed members to prioritize accountability and effective oversight of government programs and public resources. The party leadership says that the new team is expected to strengthen the opposition's role in parliament and ensure that the voices of Ugandans are well represented.
Opposition whip is going to be Honorable Paul Mwiru. The Commissioner of Parliament is none other than our Deputy President Eastern Uganda, Honorable Nambeshe John Baptist. Now, who do you think is the lope, ladies and gentlemen? The leader of our parliamentary team is none other than Honorable Joel B. Senyonyi.
Honorable Gonzaga Sewungu from Kalungu, Defense and Veteran Affairs. The Honorable Sheila Amanio Dravile, Information and Anti-Corruption. The Honorable Dr. Eunice Apio Otuko from UPC, Science, Innovation and Technology. The Honorable Ismail Kasule from the Alliance for National Transformation, Trade and Industry. The 30 slots. Yes, you'll notice everyone might not necessarily at this stage be part of shadow cabinet, but we want to kick off and see how we keep moving, because we said we didn't want to have a bloated shadow cabinet. So we'll start us off, and really want to encourage colleagues, let's go and deliver. Let's go and challenge the cabinet people on the other side and show people that we are an alternative government.
We expect the shadow cabinet to act in the interest of the people, for the people, and also ensure that whatever aspect is being discussed in Parliament, they get the views of Ugandans, and that is what they should present in their alternatives.
That we do all the time of keeping our cultural heritage at that level, so that in the short time we don't want to see our languages vanishing, our culture vanishing.
I only have one candidate. All of you are very good. At least I have interfaced with all the candidates. I want to tell Ugandans out there that we had 14 ladies apply to carry NUP ticket. But out of those 14, we had 13 of them come through for vetting. And then those proceeded to the next level of the ground survey, and eventually we came up with the best candidate. We have Nampala Irene scoring 68.2%. So that makes Irene Nampala our flag bearer.
I have that singular honor to hand over to you and also to flag you officially. Banakalangala. Tuligumite, and congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. This is our symbol.
Power, women power.
Take a short break and we'll be back with the news.
So, Mchara.
Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight. Huh? For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school, and for the school van contribution, we shall pay later. Huh?
Daddy, why don't we pay using MTN Momo, where we stand a chance of winning school fees for a whole year and more? By the way, you can also apply for a school fees loan, and also participating schools can win a school van.
That's right! Win school fees for a whole year and more. Get Momo goodies and a school van for participating schools. You can also apply for a school fees loan. Simply dial *165*80# or use the Momo app.
Common 50 series. Perfect snap, any zoom. Enjoy 9 GB free MTN data valid for 3 months. Available in any Techno or MTN outlet near you. MTN is regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Welcome to our business news on UBC News Tonight. Today on the 20th of May 2026, we start off with Uganda insurance executives who have convened to discuss strategies aimed at expanding the insurance sector amid growing economic and global uncertainty. Industry players noted that the future of Africa's insurance industry will depend not only on the market demand but also on the innovation, transformational leadership and the ability to anticipate emerging risks. Take a look.
Business leaders and insurance executives gathered at the 68th CEO's breakfast meeting to assess the current state of the insurance industry and explore strategies for resilience and competitiveness in an increasingly uncertain global environment.
What are those measures that we need to, as leaders?
Discussions focused on how the sector can adapt to economic disruptions, technological change, and evolving global risks that continue to reshape business operations across Africa.
We must be operating from what, in the futuristic way, what do we envisage is going to happen in future. And this helps the industry. And indeed, you are aware that insurance is a risk management tool. We must be able to prepare tools which can withstand the risks.
Speakers emphasized that the future growth of Africa's insurance industry is not limited by demand, but by the sector's ability to reimagine solutions, embrace innovation, and foster transformational leadership capable of driving long-term sustainability.
We need people who are skilled for the future, and especially for the needs and interests and preferences of clients in the insurance industry. And then innovation, continuous innovation, creating new ideas and new insights.
Participants further stressed the need for insurers to adapt a forward-looking approach to risk management by developing products and services that can effectively respond to emerging threats, uncertainties, and changing consumer needs.
We need to see the signals of change and quickly adopt before we are consumed by that change. Because we live in a world of hyper growth, rapid growth, disruptive growth. So we need innovation, we need new ideas and testing them throughout. Then we need partnerships, collaboration. We need to work with others who are better than us, within our ecosystem, but also outside our ecosystem.
The 68th CEO's breakfast meeting comes at a time when businesses across Africa are increasingly seeking adaptive strategies to navigate economic volatility, geopolitical uncertainty, climate-related risks, and rapid technological disruption.
Uganda's film industry has continued to grow steadily over the years, with local filmmakers increasingly using cinema to address social issues, promote culture, and showcase African stories to the international community. Now, despite challenges such as limited funding and production resources, Ugandan actors, actresses, and producers continue to produce impactful films that are gaining recognition beyond the country's borders. The producer and director of the movie, Stephen Ayenyi, described Adui as more than just entertainment, saying it is for a voice for the endangered wildlife and a call for action against environmental destruction. Take a look as Kenneth Tanava reports.
It is against this background that a new wildlife conservation movie titled Adui is attracting international attention for its strong message on conservation, poaching, and the protection of endangered wildlife. The 96 film combines emotional storytelling, thrilling scenes, and breathtaking African landscape to highlight the devastating impact of illegal poaching on wildlife and local communities. The movie emphasizes the urgent need for strong conservation efforts and collective responsibility in protecting nature for future generations. Speaking about the project, the producer and director of the movie, Enyonyi Samson Stephen, explained more about Adui.
So Adui has so many meanings, but for Adui, the movie, we actually meant an enemy. So Adui is a film about, it's actually about conservation of wildlife and showing how beautiful Uganda is. It's a film about a game ranger who was attacked by his own people. He wanted to go back home, but he couldn't go back home because his people were poachers.
He further described Adui as more than just entertainment, saying it is a voice for endangered wildlife and a call for action against environmental destruction.
Well, for the Ugandans, it's important to watch Ugandan movies. Why? Because it's easy for you to identify to Ugandan movies, because some of the things that we have in the Ugandan movies, you're seeing. If we're shooting in Kampala, you're seeing Owino Market, you're seeing Kampala Road. If you're shooting in northern Uganda, you're seeing Lira, you're seeing Gulu, you're seeing Mbarara. So it's easy for you to look at where you come from a different perspective, and see it acted. Some of these stories, actually, there are people who relate to the stories.
The actors and actresses also noted that participating in the film gave them an opportunity to educate the public about the dangers of poaching and the importance of preserving Africa's natural heritage.
We, as the cast and crew of Adui, we already appreciate government and the efforts they are putting into promoting Ugandan contents. But then, personally, I would request, which we already see us moving towards that side, a ministry that is in charge of film only and entertainment. I think that way it will push Ugandan content very fast into the world out there.
In everything, in every situation, in every business, we need peace. And it has been given to us. The protection, you are assured of the security. Today people were so many, really many. It was full house. But we are not worried. Everything is like handled carefully. So we thank the government for, of course, putting out everything that we needed, the security outside there, and also empowering the industry, the film industry.
One of the lead actors said the movie reflects the real struggles faced by wildlife rangers and conservationists who risk their lives daily to protect animals from poachers. Actors and actresses say the production is intended to inspire young people to value wildlife conservation and become ambassadors for environmental protection. The production has already earned global recognition after being voted for consideration in the prestigious Cannes Film Festival Awards, placing it among the internationally celebrated films addressing social and environmental issues. Film critics and environmental activists have praised Adui for using cinema to create awareness about wildlife crimes while promoting tourism and conservation efforts across Africa.
I must say, Adui has been a very good movie. It's going globally. The movie actually portrays Uganda as a very rich country that has gotten very, very much, like a lot of information to give out as far as tourism is concerned.
Now, in yet another edition of the nationwide capacity building clinics facilitated by the Microfinance Support Center aimed at equipping communities with financial literacy and access to affordable government financing, the districts of Manafwa, Namisindwa and Budoda in eastern Uganda have this time benefited.
What we value at MSC is that we don't want to leave anyone behind.
Very many people continue to face the challenge of limited knowledge about the enormous development opportunities offered by government through implementing agencies such as the Microfinance Support Center. This includes awareness about affordable loan products that protect Ugandans from exploitative moneylenders, knowledge on how to access financing, and cross-cutting skills and techniques on how to properly utilize acquired loans, all aimed at unlocking people from chains of poverty into the highly desired money economy and improved livelihoods.
Now, what is catching attention is the mere fact that MSC has the most cheapest products available. If I can mention it here, that most of our products, if not all, we offer at 8% interest per annum, and it is on reducing balance. And that is surprising to many of these cooperatives that have come today. And we will continue to engage them so that we can offer more business advisory services as we prepare them to partake of our product and services. So we just want to call for cooperation. Wherever we go, we want to work in unison with the government structures that are within. We also have involved in this very training the office of the Ministry of Trade, Cooperative and Industry.
This clinic, the loans clinic, has been very timely, and our people have been guided on what to do.
Gathered here in Manafwa, District leaders tell how impactful the trainings are.
We have come to a conclusive point where we are emphasizing that you need to borrow with purpose and stick to a repayment schedule that has been given to you. You need to save consistently. And on the basis of that, you build the foundation to which our people can build and get out of this poverty.
In Manafwa, Namisindwa and Bududa, leaders of the different cooperatives, groups and circles share their experiences.
We deal in coffee. In fact, we have been hearing about microfinance support center, about the loans, different loans they are giving out. And we did not know the procedure, how we can go about them. But today, they have taken us from step 1 up to the last step.
After attending this microfinance support training clinic, I've attained enough knowledge to manage our circle in terms of finances.
Some members are businessmen and businesswomen. They have taught us many things and we have acquired some knowledge. We have been doing some mistakes like handling and managing the finances. We have been giving out loans, like someone can borrow money, again it comes back. We keep on adding, so we made the mistakes.
With communities heavily engaged in coffee, Irish potato, beans, maize and onion farming, and now with the introduction of financial literacy clinics and affordable financing, the land of Bamasaba holds great potential for value addition, increased productivity, job creation and improved household incomes. Chris Buyondo, UBC.
In our sports stories, former Uganda crane star Peter Muzinga, who helped Uganda reach the 1978 AFCON final, is battling severe health complications after suffering a stroke that left him partially paralyzed and speech impaired. Retired footballers under the Former Footballers Foundation have visited him in Mutungo to assess the condition.
Upon arriving in Mutungo, Zone 5, one is confronted with the painful reality of a man who once stood tall among Uganda's football heroes. Peter Muzinga was not merely a player, he was part of the generation that etched Uganda's name into continental football history by reaching the AFCON final in 1978. Yet today, the man who once thrilled crowds and carried the dreams of the nation now lives in conditions that can only be described as deeply distressing. The stroke left Muzinga physically weakened and unable to express himself clearly. His speech has been severely affected and much of his strength has faded. Muzinga is currently being cared for by his brother Yiga Muzinga amid overwhelming financial and emotional hardships. Retired footballers through the association, the Former Footballers Foundation, led by Chairman Paul Sally, himself a member of the historic 1978 Uganda Crane squad, together with the foundation's patron Paul Musisirubowa, visited Muzinga's home to assess his living conditions and offer solidarity during his difficult chapter of his life. The visit that also became a moment of reflection.
Sprinting from the center to Duka. Nabuteekawo bulungi kunyukuta nengusanga nenkukuba. Goalkeeper yagamba nti Kamugo yagala kunzitira kiina.
Mulabako nali nva mu GSS mwazo kwa mpira kwa Kesisi. Kesi yali esamba over timu ya Eastern Centre Finals yali esamba na 78.
While addressing the media, patron Paul Musisirubowa called upon all former sports personalities to unite behind the initiative and programs spearheaded by the Former Footballers Foundation.
Kati Former Footballers Seniors Foundation evuddeyo okulaba nti eyamba abasambi abali mu mbeera ng'ey'amazinga, si kyokka n'abasambi abalala basobola okuvaako nga balina bye basobola okukola. Twatandise kampeni ya biliyoni emu mu miliyoni 5 okubafunira bye basobola okukola ng'ente, embuzi, okubajja abakyayina amaanyi luyatulwe nga tusobola okweyamba.
I'm Bantu Machabe Semambu, reporting for UBC.
We had for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching and being a part of the 2 bulletins. My name is Sharon Kyomugisha from the team, and I have a lovely night. God bless. Bye-bye.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.